AITA for kicking my stepbrother and his friends out after what they did at my engagement party. I am 30, have a younger stepbrother Kevin 22. I let him move into my old apartment and pay cheaper rent along with his 2 other friends because they're struggling with college. Needed a cheaper place but couldn't find. I'd help him out by getting his car fixed, lend him money, bring him meals. I take care of my mom who's at the hospital. My fiance and I decided to have a small celebration at a restaurant. 8 people. There were a lot of people I wanted including mom but couldn't. I have high blood pressure that despite medication, gets worse. Kevin wanted to bring his friends to my engagement party. I declined and explained that we're having a small celebration. He was upset but then dropped it. We got to the restaurant, and just as we started eating, I got a call from Kevin saying he is at the hospital where mom's staying. I asked him why and he sounded worried, telling me mom was very sick and that I needed to get there because it seemed like she was having a stroke. I dropped my fork. My fiance and parents noticed how pale I was. I hung up, and I was getting ready to leave. They asked what was going on. I told them mom was very sick and I needed to go to the hospital. Fiance wanted to come but I didn't take her. I got there. I went to the nurses who were handling my mom's care and they denied her having any sudden issues, let alone a stroke. I couldn't stand on my feet. I called Kevin several times until he picked up. He started laughing along with the others in the background. I was confused. He told me it was a prank and that I fell for it. He said we're even since they couldn't show up to my engagement party. I started yelling at him till he hung up. My fiance's parents were calling. I felt terrible because I didn't know what to tell them. It was a prank. My fiance's family thought I was lying. I kept saying my mom's doing okay. I drove to my apartment where Kevin was staying. Got into argument with him and his buddies. I yelled at them for ruining my engagement dinner and causing me stress knowing I have high BP. I told them to pack their things and move out. Kevin started begging, saying I can't do this over a prank and they had nowhere to go. I told him it wasn't my problem. They kept saying it was a prank and they didn't expect me to react like that. Then they left. My aunt called me saying Kevin was an asshole for what he did but kicking him out was extreme and I was too harsh on him. Eventually that's my brother and I need to be supportive of him even though he's acting stupid. I take some of the blame as my fiance said because they did things before and I should have stopped them but I couldn't imagine them going this far. Kevin's mom is deceased. I help him with whatever I can because I know he's struggling. His aunt isn't my biological aunt but I respect her enough to consider her family. But defending this behavior isn't acceptable. NTA. That was not a prank, it was downright cruel. Kick him out and sublease the apartment to someone else. If he thinks that's even remotely funny, you'll be teaching him a valuable lesson by throwing him out. NTA. Kevin sounds cruel and I wouldn't want to live with that kind of nastiness. What he did wasn't a prank. It was cruel, and on an important, meaningful day for you. He didn't expect you to react like that. He made you think your mom was really sick, and disrupted your engagement dinner. He surely knows you're on blood pressure medication. Anyone knows that you don't purposely try to scare someone who has high blood pressure. It's dangerous. Kevin is acting childish and needs to grow up. He can start by finding his own place to live on his own. Edit. Thank you for my first gold. That is very kind. All for judging whether someone was being a jerk. Smile. Are you kidding me with this post? I believe you, it's too insane to make up. I have no words other than obviously NTA. Obviously NTA. My aunt called me saying Kevin was an asshole for what he did but kicking him out was extreme and I was too harsh on him. Eventually that's my brother and I need to be supportive of him even though he's acting stupid. Let your aunt take his prank ass in then. Let your aunt take his prank ass in then. Yes. Hasn't even apologized. NTA. NTA. THST's something to expect from an immature middle schooler, but he's an adult. Kick him TF out. Not only him but the others as well. I was shocked. I really thought those were decent guys WHR struggling and I was a fool for feeling sorry for them. What they did, and how they made me look in front of my fiance's parents. They made me look like a liar and caused me so much stress and got me worried sick about my mom. AITA for showing my M22 roommate a security camera footage of her F23 having sex in my room. I live with 3 roommates, and since I've had bad experiences with roommates before, I installed a security camera to get an alert if someone enters my room. One day when we were all at work/school, one roommate and her BF entered my room and had sex for whatever reason. My app alerted me and started recording automatically. When I got home I confronted her about it and she owned up to it, said they did it in a different room to spice things up, and said that it's not that big of a deal. She was however pretty angry at the fact that I had a security camera in my room and a video of her having sex, which I deleted obviously. She said that recording her having sex is a bigger invasion of privacy than her having sex in my room. Am I in that situation? What in the world? I broke into someone else's private area without their knowledge and I'm mad that they have security, lol. NTA. NTA. She shouldn't have been having sex in your room in the first place, and you have every right to have a camera in your room. You didn't set out to record her having sex. It's not an invasion of her privacy, because she's not entitled to privacy when in your personal space. I just hate it when I break into someone's house and their security camera films me. It is just such an invasion of my privacy. They should really inform me that they have camera before I break into their space. Nata. Get a lock on your door, man. NTA. It is / a big deal to enter someone's room and have sex without them knowing. She can spice it elsewhere. AITA for putting my kid's non-emergency surgery above my sick GF. I'm in mobile, so there might be some format issues. A little backstory. I 37M have 2 kids. My daughter 8F was adopted from India 5 years ago. Her right leg is completely malformed. We were told that we are going to need to amputate part of it so she can have a proper prosthetic. When she came home we used a custom prosthetic that worked with her leg, but it was clear that wouldn't last forever. My late wife and I said we wanted to wait until she was fully settled into the family before getting the surgery. 2 years later my wife passed away for reasons I don't want to share, and that really put everything on hold. It was a very hard adjustment. But finally, after I felt like we were getting back to normal last year, I got the surgery scheduled for April 22, 2020. Let's just say that couldn't happen because it was non-emergency, which annoys me because yeah, she wouldn't die if she didn't have the surgery right then, but it was necessary. I also started dating my GF 8 months ago. She has 3 kids who get along with my kids, and even though she's only met my kids 3 times, she's pretty nice to them. Well, 5 months ago I finally got the surgery scheduled for February 10, 2021. Last week my GF started feeling sick. We got negative tests, but she was okay until 2 days ago. That morning she called me and said she was feeling really sick and she needed me to come over. That was the day of my daughter's surgery. I said I couldn't come over and she got really annoyed. She kept throwing it in my face that the doctors called it a non-emergency surgery. She suggested I just drop my AITA off at the hospital and then come over. I of course said no. Then she suggested I come over while she's in surgery. The surgery only takes about an hour and I wanted to be there in case anything happened, so I again said no. The surgery went well and my daughter's currently home and resting, but my GF has been ignoring me. She said to a mutual friend that I'm not even trying to make compromises here. I don't think I should have to compromise when my kid's in surgery. AITA here. Should I have tried more to be there for my GF? Edit. I texted her saying we need to break up and she hasn't seen it yet. Edit 2. She has fibula hemimelia in one leg. I don't know why people think this is polio. NTA. Triangular flag on post. Triangular flag on post. Triangular flag on post. Dump that girl. Anyone who thinks you should drop your 8-year-old off at the hospital to have her leg amputated is going to be a nightmare. So and stepmother. NTA. Wow, your GF sure is TA though. Any surgical procedure has risks, and especially for a child. Your GF is unbelievably cruel to ask you to leave your child alone at a hospital for a pretty significant surgery. The only thing you need to do is cut your GF out of your life. Your kid should always come first. NTA or GF is behaving like a child who's jealous cause her parents are paying attention to something other than her.